Welcome back to the next of the 67 step challenge, the 67 different frameworks and ideas and ways of thinking that you need to have in your head to turn them into instinct to live the best life possible. Tai likes to call that the good life. He makes the analogy that the good life is kind of like chicken noodle soup. It's an amalgamation of different ingredients, specifically health, wealth, love, and happiness. But in chicken noodle soup, it's the ratio of the chicken and the broth and the vegetables and the other spices that make the soup. If you take one of those ingredients out, it's no longer chicken noodle soup, it's no longer the good life. If you have health, but you have poor wealth, that's not the good life, of course. And if you have really good wealth, but you can't fit into your Lamborghini, then you've de-optimized your life. So this is step number 53, and it was called the second rule is never forget the first rule, the profit motive. And it becomes pretty early on in life that having money is necessary. You may be a pretty frugal person and not consider money that important, but at some point you figure out that you must have money, or as Tai likes to call them, freedom units or in-demand scarce resources to get things done. You know, we live in a world of specialization, and you probably didn't grow your own food. You probably didn't build your own house, and you probably didn't sew your own clothes. You paid someone to do those things for you so that you could do whatever your specialty is. And speaking of specialty, Tai explains that all self-made wealthy people that you know of or have read about have created some type of vehicle/business to capture the perceived value of their skill. And it's called perceived value because it's in the perception of the buying customer whether or not these things are worth purchasing. You know, some things like food are certainly have a high value because they're necessary. Other things that may not seem as necessary to you have a high value to other people, such things as tobacco, alcohol, or even video games. You know, you may not be into video games, but certainly it's presumably $1 billion industry, and that's made evident by the fact that people will line up at midnight at Best Buy and Walmart and Electronics Boutique and FYE just to be the first person to buy the new video game that's being released. And so this whole lesson was all about focusing on the basics. Again, I'm making these videos more for my own sake. If you're watching these and getting a lot out of them, that's great too, but I'm drilling these ideas into my head by just using you as an audience and just teaching what I'm learning. So, Warren Buffett was asked, what's the number one rule in business? And he said, don't lose money. And then when someone drilled further deeper into that questioning, the person said, well, Warren, what would then be the second rule? And he said, refer back to the first rule. So Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people in the world, emphasizes that even before you try to make a profit, you must not go backwards, which is lose money in your investments. And, we're focusing on the basics because it's not just about what you hear, it's what you do. It's not about what you know, it's what you execute on. And the Dalai Lama says there's 3 levels to learning that kind of illustrate this point. The first level is hearing. That's where probably 99% of the world is. Information goes in one ear and out the other. The second level, which is understanding, moves a little bit further along, but you're still not at the third level, which is the most important thing, and that's making what you're learning become your instincts. Because remember, it's not about what you know, it's not about what you hear, it's not about what you understand, it's what are your instincts. Because your instincts are what you're going to actually act upon. And speaking of perceived value, we get kind of in this lesson of giving a logical explanation to why like a professional basketball player gets paid so much more money to do their skill than an elementary school teacher. Certainly 20,000 people are going to line up to see LeBron James play basketball, but we've never seen 20,000 people watch a teacher teach in an elementary school. And that's because basketball players, generally speaking, compared to the elementary school teacher, have more rare plus in-demand skills. You must have those 2 things. You know, LeBron James, for example, one of the most known athletes in the world, is 6'8", 250 pounds, and has like a 40-inch vertical. That's a much more rare skill than someone that can teach elementary school or do some other more common skill. That's why LeBron James gets paid so much more money than an elementary school teacher. Whether you feel that's fair or not, that's how it works. And you know, many people are talented but don't actually have the skills to charge and make a profit. And Jim Rohn says the world doesn't respond to need, it responds to seed. So it's not about just your skill. Again, like I was saying in the beginning of the lesson, it's about whether or not you can charge people for it by having a systematized business that moves people down a funnel and can charge people for it so you can make a profit, you know? And remember, if it was easy, it wouldn't be rare plus in demand. But just knowing this can help you, and that person can be you. And the questions at the end of this lesson are, what's your kind of superpower you can offer the world? How well are you capturing it now? And what's one thing you can do to add more value to what you do? Thanks so much. I'll see you on review number 54. Take care.